Well, I grew up in Mexico, and it's been always a very special holiday for me ever since I was a kid. And eventually, I even got married on Day of the Dead because I wanted my whole family to be there, not just the ones that are here. And I wanted my best man, who passed away when I was a little kid, to be there as my friend to be my best man. And so it's a holiday that's always meant the world to me. And the visuals of this folkloric world have always been in my house, and I've always been obsessed with it. I always wanted to give it to the whole world. Guillermo, over the years, had gotten a lot of the Dead movies pitched to him.
Didn't like any of them. And then Jorge came in and pitched, and I loved it. I loved his energy, I loved his passion, and I felt I could contribute, but more than anything, support his quest. I think that I made it a point in my life to support first-time filmmakers, and Jorge was not the exception. He came in, and I felt this is a real deal.
We always make the comparisons to a restaurant. And there's nothing better when you try a different food from a different part of the world that you've never had.
And you learn about the culture.
And you learn about the culture, and you say, well, I usually don't like that type of food, but tonight, I've had chicken prepared in a way I've never seen it before. Like, that's kind of our movie. We always say it's a feast, the most glorious feast of Mexican food you've ever had. And we're hoping the whole world comes to this restaurant
and eats out.
And eats out.
It was organic. I mean, Jorge has a style all of his own.
And from the beginning, it's a style that, right now the people really like it, but in the beginning it was a little too different for the studios. And all the reasons people like the movie now were the reasons people in the studios in the beginning said, well, this is so different.
This is why it took us so many years.
We can't compare this to something that's been done. And so all the time they tell you, we want to see something new and original. And then you show up with something new and original. They go, whoa, 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 that's too new and original. Yes. And so it took a long time. I mean, I've had this thing for 14 years. Guillermo's been helping me out for 6 years. Yeah. And I thought, well, now that Guillermo's producing, this should be super easy. And it was not.
It was easier, and yet never as easy. Because you always get, like, I would get him the meetings. We could get in there. We came close to doing it in a couple of places. But there was always something they wanted to change that we didn't want to change. And it was until we met with Fox that we said, look, this is the movie, do you want to do it? And they said yes. And we were able to do the movie that I think, feel very proud of.
Well, from the beginning, Guillermo had been working with Gustavo Santaolalla and Paul Williams on the Pan Siren musical. And so he said, we got to embrace the Orpheus roots of the story, and we got to get some original songs in the movie. Yes. And then we talked about doing covers of existing songs. Mexican style. And so I went back to the script, and I started just writing in, the playlist of my life. I started putting in all these songs that were a big deal to me, like the Elvis song and, Creep from Radiohead.
But they were a guideline. We didn't think we could get them, by the way. We thought it's a Christmas list.
It was basically like, if
something
in the perfect world we'd get Creep, but we know we're not going to get it. So I'm just going to put it in here for now. And to the credit of Fox Music, they said, well, you're not going to get this stuff, but let's just get a formal no from these bands. And one by one,
they said yes.
They said yes.
Life and emotion.
We talk about how the new punk rock, the most rebellious thing you can do now is to be earnest. And emotional, and to speak what you feel. And so that's the message of the movie. You come from a place, you come from a tradition, you come from your parents, but what will determine who you are the choices you make, not those choices behind you. You can look to them to learn from them, but it's all about you writing your own story.
But a lot of the community, especially for young kids, the culture tends to celebrate irony and cynicism, and we want to celebrate emotion. So what happens with me when I see the movie, I want to go hug my dad, and I want to go talk to my brothers, and I want to be a better person. And the movie is that. The movie gives you that.